Okay, house cleaning out of the way. Please consider supporting this channel via channel memberships or any other means, and please consider supporting my other channels, including the Kubrick channel, if you can, liking and subscribing. All right, so I'm hoping that the other video has been put out to balance this video, because I know somebody's gonna say, "Wow, you are so partisan. All you do is hate streets. All you do is love DOA and blah blah blah." And no, if you even bother to look at any of the content, I'm pretty critical of both. I was somewhat supportive in the early days because it did seem like, okay, a lot of question marks, but maybe these two will be doing something productive. And that turned out to be a very bad optimistic judgment that was not holding up. And there you go. And that's where I stand. So, Streets released a video where he was very critical of DOA holding a double standard. And it's frankly him and Laura, and the way that when things go well, they want to get a lot of credit and even money. But when things don't go so well, they're going to shift the responsibility to other people, including, well, Streets LA. So, with that part of the video, I don't have many problems with it. Obviously, Streets, as we're going to see, is being a little cynical and not really telling the truth. But there we are. But the point is still solid that, yeah, DOA is a hypocrite. He is holding a double standard, at least on the subject of Josiah, and no doubt a few other things. But now we get the Streets himself and what he's trying to affirm in another part of the video, and it's just bat crazy stupid. It just made no sense at all. It is laffy taffy nonsense, and no matter how you're going to slice it, it just sounds silly. And we're going to go through it thoroughly. So you're going to be like, yeah, this part was just silly. He's just off in fantasy world because he's being caught red-handed doing something wrong. He can't find any real excuse, so he's just going to blather nonsense. So what is he saying? So we're going to set it up the way he set it up. And by the way, I don't think this is what is true or what happened. He's distorting things, but hey, that's what Streets is going to do. So DOA is raising the question of abuse, and there's no nice way of putting it, that Aaron has been, to put it mildly, been very narcissistic and very manipulative of several women. And it's not just women. Aaron has a lot of victims. We're going to focus here on the particular female victims who he's had a quote relationship with. And literally, I've lost count how many women we're talking about. But on the record, I'd say it's about 4 to 5 people. Technically, it's 5 if we include Heather, his former wife. But we're going to keep it simple with the 3 women who have come forward and clearly put forward accusations, which are very alarming. So Jenna put out a series of videos, which she took down on her channel, but I saw all those videos. I have some of those videos, and I've looked through them, and she is pretty explicit that she's charging Aaron with being lying, deceptive, manipulative, cheating on her, as well as yelling and screaming at her. So Streets was in a difficult position. So a few weeks ago, he said he wasn't taking any stance. He was completely neutral on this issue. Okay, fine. Now that's not true. We knew that wasn't true, but anyway, that was his public stance, that he was just neutral. He's not saying Aaron did anything right or good. He doesn't think this was good behavior, but he's not really taking a stance. He's trying to stay totally neutral away from it. So now he's changing, and he did say this. He did say that Aaron is his friend. And yes, Aaron has been planning an interview apparently with him, and he will do that. Okay. All right. And yes, he does admit that he and his mods have apparently been in Aaron's chat. Okay. Which violates the neutrality standard in my eyes, but there you go. So he wasn't really telling the truth about neutrality, which obviously calls into question his credibility, but there you go. So how does he get out of this? Well, he tries to set this up saying that DOA shouldn't be talking because DOA is reaching out to Zach Ellison. So who is Zach? Well, Zach is an independent journalist out in California. So Zach was being very friendly and very positive initially towards the protests in LA and the way they were, well, yelling and screaming at a lot of people. But Zach tried to see the good. So, and by the way, some of this did happen because We in LA did confirm this. So We in LA was one of these female activists. And basically, Streets is charging Zach with stalking We in LA. Well, again, I don't think this would even hold up legally, but I do think it's fair to say that Zach tried to start some kind of romance with We in LA and apparently was misrepresenting how close they were. And We in LA was like, no, we're not really a couple. And there we are. So Streets is charging Zach with being a stalker. Now, I don't think this is true, but then again, Streets has been stalking several women. We caught him on tape. He's very proud of this because he's yelling and screaming at a ton of women. So that's what stalking is. If somebody says, "Stop following me" consistently and you still keep doing it, that's stalking. So apparently, what Aaron is doing, not stalking. What Streets is doing is not stalking, but what Zach does is stalking. Because? Well, because he said so. So, okay, that's not very convincing. Let's say that's true. Well, why does that matter? Because he's saying he's Aaron's friend. Okay? So apparently what Aaron is doing is fine. Or what Aaron is doing is not fine, but it's not alarming enough for him to stop the relationship. Okay? So is he saying that Jenna's lying? Is he saying these women are lying? Is he saying they're all lying? 'Cause it's not just women, and it's not just this issue. We have documents showing over and over consistently. We even have videos where Aaron has been caught over and over again yelling and screaming and manipulating people, even the police. He was straight out lying to the police to get out of trouble. So is Street saying all this is wrong, all this is bad, all this is OSA, all this is Scientology? Is he saying that Jenna is secretly a Scientology agent? She made it all up? Don't know. These documents are false? Don't know. Is the video wrong? Don't know about that either. So he's just trying to be cute and cynical that, oh, well, DOA is being hypocritical again. You're talking to Zach. Zach is a stalker. Okay, well, let's presuppose the case. And for YouTube, let's be very clear. This is an alleged case of stalking. Okay, this is an alleged case. And Streets is saying, how could you say that? How could you say these mean things about Aaron? Let's look at you. You're working with the stalker. Well, that would apply to you. Like on camera, we've seen Aaron stalk people persistently and consistently. One case was particularly pretty bad and stupid. By the way, I even defended Aaron slightly on that one. So let me be clear on that. Where he was chasing down these three Germans, and one of them was a really old German woman who was much smaller than him. And they made very clear, stop following us. That is what stalking is. Now, I don't feel too sorry for those people. I do feel like Aaron, as always, was being stupid. He was asking about Danny Masterson. Well, if they're German speakers primarily, they're right, and he's trying to talk to them in English. So it's like, what was the point? Still, the line is going to be a little fuzzy between activism and stalking, right? You know, following people to ask them valid questions. It's like, yeah, we should make some leeway. However, if we're going to make the standard that X follows a woman, that's stalking, well, then Aaron is a stalker. Not just in that case, not just with the German people. He's been stalking quite a few people. So apparently that is not stalking when Aaron does it, even when it is clear-cut case of stalking. And by the way, that's my opinion on the Germans. Other people say, no, that is clear-cut case of stalking. Okay, there you go. So Streets either has a really weird special definition of stalking that only applies to Zach, logically. That's the only way this logically makes any sense. Otherwise, he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything at all. He's just basically saying, oh, okay, Aaron has said good things and bad things. So let me be very clear. He did disagree with Aaron on a few things. So Aaron made this wild accusation that Lara and or DOA were, quote, on drugs, that they're drug addicts. And Streets is saying clearly, I don't agree with that. I disagree with that. Okay, there. So he's not just here to repeat what Aaron says. He does have his own mind, and he's willing to be independent. But that makes it a lot worse. So his independent mind and brain, his individuality is to say, oh, okay, Aaron's accused of these things. We're being very generous on both sides. These are not accusations. These are proven facts, but so be it. So we're left with this muddle. Either he is saying Jenna is lying, Jenna deceived all of us, these women too, even though they provided texts, they provided documents, all these people accusing of Aaron being a fraud, of being abusive, being manipulative, it's all wrong. Or Streets is saying he doesn't care. But then he says he does care because he's saying DOA is doing the same thing. And he's saying Zach is a bad guy, even though Aaron has done very similar behavior or identical behavior. So is he saying that Zach, just being logical here, is the worst person in the universe? And again, I'm trying to be nice with the logic here, but no, it's not true. He's not the worst person in the universe. Or is he saying that Aaron, for whatever reason, is the opposite, the most special, beautiful, good person in the universe, so we can make a special rule for him? Like, see, the way it works in logic is you can get over a double standard. You can avoid the charge of hypocrisy if there's a if there is a special assumption. So the special assumption is either Zach is, for whatever reason, extremely evil, or what Aaron is extremely good. That's the only way to get out of this. But neither assumption is valid. You can say it. You can say it in an argument. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's where we are. So basically, it's just Laffy Taffy nonsense. Basically, Streets is trying to work with Aaron. Why? Well, I could assume only the worst, that it's money, right? Aaron has a big channel. Streets wants to stay, okay with that audience. And there we go. So there we are. Of course, some people say, well, here you are charging Streets in DOA with not telling the whole truth. What about you, buddy? Well, see, there's a major difference. Let's say tomorrow you lay out my whole life and history. Here are some facts. I am not part of the Jenna Miscavige Corporation. I'm not part of the DOA Corporation. I'm not part of the Streets LA Corporation. I'm not part of the Aaron Corporation. Now, the future is unknown. Maybe I will be joining those corporations in the future. But up to now, I have no direct interest in DOA, Streets LA, Aaron, or Jenna. I don't have any real investment in their corporations. I don't. You can look through my whole record. You're not going to find any stock or credit of mine in their corporations. Okay, that is a different standard. And Streets is not stupid. He's a grown adult. He knows this. So that is a big difference. If you're defending Aaron, which you, Streets, are doing, and you have a direct financial interest, that is different. That is different. So you say, well, you're not telling the whole truth either. Yeah, but I'm also not, I repeat, not making money with Aaron. Aaron has not given me a single paycheck. Streets has not given me a single paycheck. So let's be clear on who is doing what with whom and why. So Streets is defending Aaron for the money and for the clout and for the clicks. I'm not defending nor attacking Aaron for those reasons. I am just observing, analyzing, and commenting. That is all I am doing. So, no, we're not in the same category. But I know some people can be, well, if you can find evidence that I'm part of the Streets LA Corporation or Aaron Corporation, good luck with that, because it don't exist. But thank you, and have a nice day.